Good morning. Welcome to WireTapped. Welcome to Week 16, the fantasy football semifinals. I remember years ago this was the finals, and now we still got games to play, but that's neither here nor there. We need to get you one more win. It is time to discuss the waiver wire. Ryan's here, Josh is here, you're here. Let's talk fantasy football waivers. What is up? Good morning and welcome to WireTapped, Club Fantasy's weekly waiver wire show. It is our penultimate episode. This one and one more left to get you to the fantasy championship. I am your host, Ryan Weiss. With me, as always, Josh Hudson. Josh, we always joke we're the same age, but I'm the old man of the show, which is 100% true. But saying week 16 in the intro, I don't know where that broke things in my brain. I'm like, God, this used to be the championship. And it wasn't even that long ago. It was like 6 seasons ago, but still. So
it's a nice little blast from the past this morning, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's just because week 16 used to be the year, and now it's not anymore.
I was going to say, and you know what? I think there are still some people that did not change their league settings and just riding it out and calling it a week after 16. So
my 16-team league, the championship is this week. I'm not in it, but it's this week now. So yeah, there are teams like that. Josh, I made it to 7 semifinals. Did you get a chance to look? What are you looking like this week?
Yeah, so I made it to, in Dynasty, I made it to 4, one of which I had a bye, so I cleared. I cleared 3 of 5 in the quarterfinal round, and then my one like main redraft league that's not like a tournament squeaked that one out on the final Devon Achane catch. Literally won by like 0.28 fantasy.
Wait a second, is that our auction league?
Yeah, the one that you drafted for me.
Sorry, folks.
I made it our auction league. Like I didn't pay the buy-in.
I made it to 8 semifinals.
I had inventory to do Sunday night. Ryan was nice enough to fill in a draft for me.
And I draft from Josh's rankings.
But you know what? Now I have to go through into the semifinals. I'm down Jaden Daniels and Patrick Mahomes. My starting quarterbacks in this super flex auction league.
Jackson Dart
and Tyler Shuck, baby.
Oh, yeah. What asshole drafted those guys, man?
Well, I picked up Shuck on waivers, but thank you for Jackson Dart.
Yeah, Jackson Dart was the win of the century there.
And then I'm still hanging on by a thread in a chopped league that I'm in with one of our writers. I managed that, again, Devon Achane squeaked by on that one, and I was able to knock off literally the most star-studded roster. Which goes to show you in chopped leagues, just don't finish last.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how much star power.
I look forward to getting into a chopped league next year. I did not do one this year. And I know we're going to be able to get one with like the whole Club Fantasy crew and a lot of our listeners. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I see the chat going. Let's get the chat up real quick, folks. Let us know how many semifinals and everything you made it to. But first, I'm going to get Charlene up. We're going to let her jump the line. She got the CMC trade done, the one that I was encouraging yesterday. So go win that championship, Charlene, because I hate to
Did you give up the 2 first, though, Charlene?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
The big question.
What did you have to give up? But I do also want to point to you, in the world of Ryan, if you don't win the championship now, you fucked up. And that is a feeling, Charlene, that I live with many a season. I want to be very clear. It takes a little while to get over, and then you trade it again next year because that's how it all goes. So, all right. We got some familiar names. Keenan, welcome back to the show. Pick one. Rico Dowdle, Travian Henderson, Kenneth Walker. This is not even a question to me. 0 chance I'm benching Travian Henderson.
Yeah, it's Travian Henderson.
And Keenan, I only say that because you're here all the time and you know that's how we talk to each other. But I get why you're asking. Travian Henderson is not benchable right now. Pick 3 wide receivers, and man, does he have the dilemma of dilemmas right now. Rashee Rice, Tedoroa McMillan, Michael Wilson, Mike Evans. Why did I almost say it's Jawan Jennings? I almost said Greg Jennings. So I was like, what is going on?
You're really living in the past today, man.
Old man, folks. Gray beard. Don't ever miss it. Lad McConkey, Drake London, if London plays. Josh, let's go on the assumption that London doesn't play. Well, I guess I don't want to do that. Let's go on the assumption London plays, because obviously there are major questions about Rashee Rice. And after last week, there might be questions about Tetairoa McMillan. Michael Wilson is the only for sure start out of this group. Like, I no chance I'm benching him. So,
yeah, especially if they're smart and do what the Commanders did and just, sit the stud, right? Like, just let Marvin Harrison heal and come back next year, and new offense, new quarterback, likely, all that good shit. I don't know how you bench Mike Evans either.
I moved him immediately into the starting lineup in the OG Dynasty League.
Yeah.
So you're right. And then I think Juwan Jennings, to be perfectly honest.
I was going to say, I think he's the hottest of all of them. I mean, he hasn't had like big yardage totals, but we're going to talk about this a little bit later. Ricky Pearsall re-aggravated his PCL strain, so he's basically week to week now, which week to week before was 8 weeks. So,
Josh, I was going to say, like, I don't know if I trust London coming back, but I made that same mistake with Mike Evans last week, and Kirk Cousins is playing well. The situation where London makes my lineup is London plays and Marvin Harrison plays, and then I'm benching Michael Wilson, which I know sounds ridiculous, but Michael Wilson had 5 targets the last time Marvin Harrison was back. So
yeah. I mean, if Harrison's back, like, you're not starting Wilson at all.
Yeah.
So,
but you are starting Jacoby Brissett.
Juwan Jennings, I feel like you have to. Like, he's kind of been the go-to guy there, especially in the end zone. He's seen a lot of end zone targets. Had 2 touchdowns this week on 3 catches. Who does San Francisco have this week? They have the Colts. Yeah. I mean, they're an okay defense. They're not a world beater by any means.
Yeah. Don't read too much into last week.
Yeah, exactly. Still, JSN had over 100 yards on him. Like, you can throw on the Colts. Like, exactly. That's not difficult, especially with Ward still out, Sauce Gardner still out. Jennings should be fine on Monday. Falcons get the Cardinals. Like, if Drake London plays, like, you want to play him against Arizona.
You certainly do.
And you certainly want Michael Wilson playing as long as you come.
Yeah. The ideal situation here is that Harrison's out, London's in, and you hear good things about him. And then you go Wilson, London, and honestly, I don't even care who you start in your third spot, because
I still would go Evans over Jennings.
I would as well.
I feel like that they've got something to prove. Like, get him as many yards as humanly possible, even if it's not going to hit 1,000. So
Charlene countered with the second. They accepted. So did not even have to give up that second first. Great trade.
Love it.
Week 16. Welcome, Quincy. Let's get those starting lineups. Let's get you to what would be what now? You went 14-0. You had the bye, so now we got to get you to 15-0. Let's do it. Which defense do we like, Josh? Chiefs, Saints, Seahawks, Chargers. I updated my rankings, and again, my Tuesday rankings are always rough. Chiefs and Saints are right next to each other for me, Josh, and they are the choice here. Oh, no, they're not. I'm sorry. Oh, are they? I have Seahawks at 3 right now, but that's going to need to come down like crazy against the Rams. I don't know if it's going to come down to these streaming options, though. I'm gonna say
have an easy matchup.
I'm gonna say Seahawks for floor, Chiefs for ceiling.
Chiefs at Titans. That should be an easy one, even without
Saints at Jets or versus Jets.
Yeah, I mean, God damn, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it just boils down to who's the better defense, right? Like, to me, the Chiefs are a much better defense than the Saints.
Well, the Seahawks are the best defense of this entire.
I would agree with that, but how'd that work out when we said the Patriots would do well against Buffalo and the Rams?
Well, the Rams in Detroit, right? Exactly.
Like, so I don't really. It's in Seattle, so maybe, but
no,
you're
right.
The Rams have gotten so good about controlling the clock.
You're right. It's the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's the better defense against the worst offense. It's them. Yeah. I do like the Saints, though. This week.
Fantasy Lab points out that 17-yard catch got them over by 0.04, but now he has to go against McBride and Bijan this week. So
Godspeed, homie.
Yep. Our buddy Joel says he's back from his Micah Parsons-induced exile.
That's so rough.
Now, I do want to point something out, though, and this is no shot at Joel or the one thing I've come to realization is we've been hyping up that Green Bay defense fantasy-wise for too long. They have not been good this season, and now losing Micah Parsons makes them close to unplayable. So
yeah, they started hot. Like I feel like everybody's just remembering that first game of the season.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And Micah, for as good as he's been, his sack numbers should be so much better. Like he leads the league in quarterback
pressures. Yep.
But only has 12.5 sacks. Like for whatever reason, just can't finish. But yeah, I mean, and you would think that having Parsons on the other side would, jump up Rashawn Gary and Van Ness and those guys, but they're not seemingly doing much either, it feels like. So
Joel said Packers need to win games 35-31.
I mean, luckily they have a good enough offense to do it, but without Christian Watson, if they don't have Christian Watson this week, that definitely makes it harder.
Yep. Good morning, Sergio. Bucky Irving, DeAndre Swift, Jalen Warren, Deebo Samuel, Chris Godwin, Ricky Pearsall. Josh, you kind of hit this yesterday. To me, this comes down to Swift or Irving. Mm-hmm. And Swift feels like the more trustable asset right now in this iteration of this Bears offense.
Yeah, but
Bucky Irving gets the Carolina Panthers. Yeah.
You can run on the Panthers.
Chicago gets Green Bay, and that was just a game a few weeks ago, and that was the game where both running backs went over 100 yards, or no?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I mean, again, to me, Swift's just the hotter player right now. Like, yeah. You can't sit Swift.
And it seems like Tampa Bay is okay to just continue throwing the ball everywhere now that they have all their guys back. So. Yep. Not even a question here, Quincy. All of it's Jacoby Brissett, and it's not close. Lamar versus Jacoby Brissett.
Yep.
Are we making other decisions here for you? 2 running backs, Josh. Chase Brown, Travion Henderson, DeAndre Swift, RJ Harvey.
Yeah, you're starting CMC.
I didn't even see CMC. I went right to Chase Brown.
So your 2 running backs, CMC and Henderson.
Yeah, I agree.
Although you can definitely make the case for Swift over Henderson, too.
Swift is going to fit into this flex easily.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like your flex is Swift and Chase Brown. I haven't even looked at the wide receivers.
You're actually completely right, Josh, because we are fine with benching Rashee Rice. We're starting Evans and Jacoby Myers. So we're benching the Tampa Bay wide receivers. You're going to start those 2 running backs over those. Or excuse me, not the 2. You're going to bench Ibuka and Rashee Rice and start the running backs. And then Waller or Schultz is fun, Josh, but Waller convinced me last night. I saw everything I needed to see. It's Darren Waller against Cincinnati.
Yeah, Waller against Cincinnati. I do like Schultz this week. He's been a top 6 tight end since week 9, I believe. And over that same time span is 3rd among tight ends in targets. So he's definitely very involved. But I think if you're searching for ceiling, Waller against Cincinnati is 100% the play.
Yep. We're going to put the chat on break real quick. We got you guys in a little bit early. I'll remind everybody, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, do everything you can do. Move us up the algorithm. If you happen to be listening on Apple or Spotify, hit that follow button. We do have super chat if you do not want to wait around. We also have a completely free Discord that I encourage you to jump in. We talk fantasy football literally 24 hours a day, 7 days a week over there. News and notes, Josh, as we mentioned yesterday. Patrick Mahomes, torn ACL, had the surgery on Monday. Also tore his LCL, which I think, not a doctor, is probably going to hurt the recovery a little bit, maybe putting early parts of next season in jeopardy. Washington announced they are shutting down Jaden Daniels for the season. Told you. And the Jets are releasing Alan Lazard at his request. He's going to waivers in week 15 of the 2025 NFL season. What the fuck? Why was he
still trying to figure out where this was 15 weeks ago when they weren't going to have Aaron Rodgers as their starting quarterback for the Jets, and that being like Lazard's best buddy and all that. But Ryan, we talked before we go live. This feels very reactionary because his old teammate Marquez Valdez-Scantling caught a touchdown from his old quarterback Aaron Rodgers and said, "Where's my touchdowns?"
Yeah. You wonder if he doesn't immediately end up in Pittsburgh. I joke that he just wants to spend the holidays with his family. But it seems likely he ends up in Pittsburgh if they're willing to make that move.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. They've been adding a lot of veterans to Pittsburgh right now. I mean, they grabbed Adam Thielen, they bring in MVS. The young guys clearly aren't doing it. Calvin Austin's much better as a returner. So
yeah. Josh, we spent a little time on this yesterday, but we may have some new audience members today. ATL Outdoors, I don't think, was able to join us on the Monday show. What is our overall take on Patrick Mahomes? How are we approaching the Kansas City offense moving forward? Let's just go piece by piece. Kareem Hunt.
I'm fading Kareem Hunt altogether. They're not going to be able to move the offense near as well without Patrick Mahomes, which ultimately is going to damage how much red zone opportunities they have, and that's where Kareem Hunt makes his money.
Rashee Rice was at points a top 10 wide receiver, has been trending down lately. Now he gets Gardner Minshew. How are you looking at him?
Fringe top 30.
Whew, that's a big bump down. So we're talking flex plays for Rashee Rice at this point.
Basically, yeah. I'm not. I mean, he's still going to be the wide receiver one there, but again, it just depends what version of Gardner Minshew are we getting? Are we getting the one from 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
Are we getting the one from last year, or the one whose first pass this past week was an interception?
Gardner Minshew will turn the ball over.
He's going to turn the ball over, and he's going to put his guys in harm's way.
Hospital balls.
And Rashee Rice has taken quite a few hits.
Yeah, we saw Tyquan Thornton get murdered last week.
Yep, exactly. So it definitely worries me a little bit. Again, I think he's kind of sort of safe-ish, but he doesn't have the same kind of
certainly better in PPR than he is anywhere else. I don't think it's worth talking about any of the other wide receivers. No. Do not start another Chiefs wide receiver not named Rashee Rice, which brings us to Travis Kelce. Put up decent numbers last week. Gardner Minshew in his past has favored the tight end. I know this because I wrote that in last year's article about Brock Bowers. So if my biggest concern here, Josh, is Travis Kelce is an old man married to the hottest commodity in the entire world. What motivation does Travis Kelce have to play football without his best friend? I am truly worried Travis Kelce requests being shut down.
I don't think the competitor in him will allow that, because I think he saw how Jason went out.
Yeah, that's very fair.
And how the Eagles season, started 10-1. They lose 6 of their last 7 or whatever it is, and obviously get beat in the first round of the playoffs very convincingly, and he goes out that way versus waiting a year when the Eagles win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, this is Travis's 13th season. Jason retired in his 13th. Obviously, we know Taylor's lucky number 13, all that nonsense. So
yeah,
I do think that there's a lot that tells me that this is probably Travis's final season.
I agree.
And I don't think that he wants to go out on the note that my last season went down when Patrick Mahomes went down. Like, no, he is his own person. He's not, his career is not tied to Patrick Mahomes.
I don't know how much you want to read into it, but the fact that they are very heavily looking into a June 13th wedding, that's like right in the middle of when he should be conditioning. I think he knows this is his last season already. So
yeah, I agree.
We're going to skip audience for now. About 10 questions in the hole. We're going to get to you guys right after this, but let's start the show off with waivers. It is my top 5, and I'm using quotations this week because I actually gave you 7 options in the article. My top 5 articles from Club Fantasy FFL.com. Putting it bluntly, Josh, I came out on a fucking heater last week. Jacoby Brissett, one of the QB ones. Harold Fannin, a tight end one. Luther Burden, a top 24 wide receiver, and my other 2 guys each scored a touchdown. Josh, I've never went 5 for 5 before, but I'll certainly take it when I'm trying to get people into the finals.
Yeah, and what's crazy is 1, 2, 3, 4 of them really, because Trevor Lawrence was a streaming option last week, are still available in 50 or more percent.
For everyone who was wondering, Jacoby Brissett went down again after yelling at everybody last week. Obviously, the fantasy world doesn't listen to this show. Otherwise, you'd all be in the championship right now. So, Josh, my top 5 this week, I kind of broke everything down by position. 2 positions I lumped together, and it's positions I don't normally include in the article, and that's quarterback and tight end. Jacoby Brissett and Trevor Lawrence are the priorities, and I put Brissett ahead of Lawrence. We'll get back to that. Darren Waller and Colby Parkinson are the priorities. I put Waller ahead of Parkinson. Everybody else, it's Michael Carter, and then it's Blake Corum again, and it's Luther Burden again. This is a very repeating article, Josh. So 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, but let's start with these quarterbacks. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence sets the world on fire last week, and I don't want to take anything away from Trevor Lawrence. But he does get Denver this week, and Jacoby Brissett has set the world on fire for 10 consecutive weeks now.
Yeah, and this is basically what we told everybody on this show last week. And really throughout the entire week. Trevor Lawrence is your quarterback in week 15.
Yep.
Jacoby Brissett is your quarterback in week 16.
And 17.
Trevor Lawrence is your quarterback in week 17.
Oh, I think Brissett in 17. Josh, doesn't he have Cincinnati?
Well, it was one of both of them have good matchups.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence has Indy, who he just killed as well.
So that's what I'm getting at is it's a toss up, but those are your two guys. Both of them readily available. You could grab both of them. Drop whomever you got to drop.
Yep.
These are your playoff winning quarterbacks here. Since week 9. Since week 9. Jacoby Brissett is the QB3. Trevor Lawrence is the QB2.
Oh. Wow.
Literally, two top 3 quarterbacks in fantasy football over the past 6 weeks, and you're leaving them on the waiver wire.
Yeah. What do they need to prove?
My point exactly. And I understand you don't get points for last week, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. What about the 10 other weeks that Jacoby Brissett has been doing this and you've been fucking ignoring
He's literally scored 20 fantasy points every single week except for one, and that one he scored 19. Like, I'm not exaggerating. This guy is balling right now. So.
He's been a top 12 quarterback every single week.
Keenan knows how to cut the line. Drake May or Jacoby Brissett. Josh, I'm not benching Jacoby Brissett. Plain and simple. I love Drake May. Drake May is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Jacoby Brissett is one of the, if not the best quarterback in fantasy. It's Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I kind of think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Let me tell you guys
saying it like the Ravens. It's Sunday night. It's in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Ravens just shut down Joe Burrow. Like, clearly there's something still there with the Ravens defense. Again, what more does Jacoby Brissett have to do to tell you he should be starting for you?
Yeah. Josh, I know you want to get to the thumbnail, but I'm going to throw Michael up on the screen, and we're going to do this the way I did it in the article. So he needs a tight end this week with Patrick Mahomes out. He's not trusting Travis Kelce, and that actually gets into a whole segment I'm going to do on the show later. But my top 2 waiver priorities, Josh, are Darren Waller, who just scored 2 touchdowns against the Cincinnati Bengals, and Colby Parkinson, who just scored 2 touchdowns against the Seattle Seahawks. I wrote in my article, finding a tight end with 2 touchdown upside is the dream. You now have 2 of them available to you.
Pick one. I mean, it's literally
really what it is.
I like, we talked on Monday morning. It was because we got this exact question like 5 different times. Yeah. Waller or Parkinson. Yesterday it was, you know what we saw from Parkinson, the news with Devontae Adams, it makes sense because they're probably not going to change the offense on a Thursday night in a short week. Dial up Colby Parkinson. And then it was, man, it's so hard to bypass this dream matchup of Waller against Cincinnati. Let's kind of see how he does against Pittsburgh. Well, then he comes out and scores 2 fucking touchdowns.
Yep. Hey, I love getting our audience involved. Fantasy Lab says he's leaning Parkinson, which is fine. Again,
yeah, and I will say, like, I do think that Parkinson probably has the safest floor because when you take out a key cog in that offense, like Colby Parkinson, or excuse me, like Devontae Adams, somebody has to fill that role.
Yeah,
the way that they were using Colby Parkinson last week tells me that is the guy that will fill in that role.
Yeah. And I always hit this point. It's a short week. You don't change your offense on a short week. Colby Parkinson is going to fill the exact role he filled last week. So.
Yeah. And I do think that with Waller, so many of his targets, at least from Monday, were come from behind.
Yes. That's a very
And while Cincinnati definitely has the offense that they can get out ahead very quickly, this offense is struggling right now.
Yeah.
So maybe that lends itself to a heavier dose of Devon Achane and less Darren Waller. So I think Parkinson ultimately is the safer option here, but also still equally has enough upside.
Another great question from Caesar. You guys are going to, so I have a whole segment planned for this, but let's get Caesar up here, Josh. Obviously over Loveland, you're starting Parkinson or Waller, but I do have both of these 2 ahead of Tyler Warren this week, Josh.
I would as well.
Yep. And then Josh, for the first time, we'll get to the thumbnail last. And last week I used Blake Corum sort of as a placeholder for all handcuff running backs. This week I wanted to talk about Blake Corum. Blake Corum, Josh, and you actually opened my eyes to this. Kieran Williams is dealing with little bits of injuries. when you are moving to the end of the season and you have a running back who is a plug and play, the same running back as your starter, why wouldn't you keep him involved? I say all of this to say Blake Corum is still an RB2 in fantasy, even when Kieran Williams is healthy right now.
I mean, he was the RB20 this past week. That's the definition of an RB2. He's got 3 straight games over 13 fantasy points. He scored 4 touchdowns over his last 3 games. Last 2 weeks, he's seen 11 plus carries.
Yeah.
I said it a couple of weeks ago. Blake Corum is souped up Tyler Algier. He's a running back that,
he's watered down Kieran Williams.
Well, he's watered down Kieran Williams, but you could make the argument that maybe him and Kyle Monangai are kind of in that same conversation.
That's really fair.
You know, like they're being used so similarly. It's just the Rams have a higher powered offense and score.
One of them's in a very good offense.
Yeah. So like he's a startable asset right now, even, splitting time with Kieran Williams.
Yeah.
And again, losing Devontae Adams opens up so many red zone opportunities. Blake Corum and Kieran Williams, we see them in the same room together. Long. They're the same fucking guy. Like, they play exactly the same way. And quite frankly, Blake Corum's got more juice than Kieran Williams. His yards per carry the last 3 games.
Because backup running backs are supposed to be more efficient.
Well, I mean, that's fair, but like 6.8 this past week.
Yeah, he's
over
wild.
10 yards per carry each of the 2 weeks prior. You name a time when Kieran Williams has done that.
No. Blake Corum is going to cause some headaches for the 2026 Los Angeles Rams. Right now, they're just loving life because you lose Devontae Adams, but you have these 2 running backs that are just yardage eaters in the goal line. It's perfect.
And that's the thing is that they do not target Puka Nacua in the red zone that often.
Nope.
So if you're removing Devontae Adams from this equation,
Colby Parkinson,
they're going to go right back to the times when Kieran Williams was scoring 31 touchdowns in 2 seasons.
Exactly.
Because we know that he knows how to score. And then, of course, you add in another big body like Colby Parkinson, who's been doing it this season. This is their offense. They're not really changing it much. They're just tweaking who ultimately gets the ball.
Yep. So those are your top 7 for this week from my top 5 article. At quarterback, Jacoby Brissett and Trevor Lawrence. At running back, Blake Corum and Michael Carter. Luther Burden is probably your top wide receiver ad, though there's a lot of wide receivers. We'll talk about them in a future section. And at tight end, Darren Waller and Colby Parkinson. Josh, let's get back to the chat. They've been waiting so patiently. Fantasy Lab kicks us off. Jawan Jennings is a red zone demon. It's so funny that we've been talking about like all this same stuff for so long now, yet they're still just kind of out there for teams. Just like Christian Watson only needs 3 to 4 targets. And really that's been Jennings' role, Josh. Jennings is a guy who showed 3 touchdown upside last season. So,
and he finds the end zone and Brock Purdy likes him and looks for him in that area. He hasn't really been needed in this, like, okay, I got to go out and I got to carry the offense. Yeah. That's what Christian McCaffrey's done all season.
And for anybody wondering, Brandon Ayuk officially switched from PUP to DNR did not report. He will not be playing this season.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan came out and said, I haven't seen him in a month.
Yep.
Yeah, he was not going to be a 49er this year.
Yep.
Or in 2026.
Yeah, he's done. We buy homes, non-PPR, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and 1 flex. Jay Jettis, Stephon Diggs, and Mika Ibuka, Terry McLaurin, Rashee Rice, T. Higgins. I see Josh shaking his head, which is why I laugh, because the answer is never one Justin Jefferson. Josh, I also think the answer cannot be Stephon Diggs right now.
No.
This is a situation, even in non-PPR, Josh, where I'm leaning Rashee Rice unless T. Higgins has a clean bill of health. It's Terry McLaurin and Rashee Rice for me right now. Maybe a Mika Ibuka.
On Saturday.
What's that?
And McLaurin gets the Eagles on Saturday.
Ooh, see, that is rough. So do we go Mika Ibuka? 7 targets last week.
That's what I'm saying. The targets are there for Ibuka. And I think with everybody healthy, actually benefits him. Again, it's just him and Baker just need to reestablish that connection. I don't think McLaurin finds the end zone, not against Quinyon Mitchell.
That's fair. I forgot they were playing the Eagles. I
mean, Rice gets Tennessee. It's a good matchup, so I think even downgrading, he's probably your guy.
Yeah.
Cincy against Miami. If Higgins gets the clean bill of health, I'm probably going him.
He's the must start here.
Yeah.
I think Joe Burrow comes out on a fucking... I spent all yesterday shitting on Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow comes out on a fucking tear this week. I think we see 300 yards and 4 touchdown Joe Burrow.
Of course. Right after he cost me a fucking win.
I mean, this guy is so despondent right now. I saw that interview you were talking about yesterday. I felt bad for Joe Burrow, and I don't even like the guy. So that was rough for sure. So yeah, I think, Josh, I'm gonna go Rashee Rice and T. Higgins, and then if T. Higgins can't play, I'm gonna pivot to Emeka Egbuka.
That's fair.
We got Kieran Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Omarion Hampton, Travion Henderson. So clearly it's going to be one of your running backs in your flex. Yep. I'm not even going to throw Aaron Jones into this argument.
It's Kieran, it's Gibbs, it's Henderson.
Done. So there you go. We are going Rashee Rice and T. Higgins, throw in Egbuka if you need to, and then your top 3 running backs, Travion Henderson, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Kieran Williams. Good luck to you.
That's where I would go as well.
Keenan, Dowdle, Kenneth Walker. Oh, wait, didn't we? No, Rashee Rice, Juwan Jennings, Tedero, McMillan. Josh, if I can only play one of these guys, it's Juwan Jennings.
That's where I'm going as well. Yep.
Zach, 60 fucking point comeback based on our recommendation of Trevor Lawrence. Congratulations, Zach. That is fucking awesome. Joel Worth, Monangai is the better Bears back this week. Wow, I didn't mean to turn that into alliteration. Packers are really good at rushes on the edge, terrible between the tackles. And Joel is a huge Packers fan. This is who you want to get your advice from on this. So, he was talking about the T-Law thing. And then, yeah, so we got to go Purdy or Stroud for this one, Josh, after losing Patrick Mahomes.
I really like Stroud this week against the Raiders. Because especially with how beat up their run game is.
Yeah,
I think they're going to have to throw the football.
Yep, with Woody Marks going down, we're talking about possible. I don't know if Marks is out this week, but we're talking about Jawar Jordan as the starting running back. So.
I mean, he had a couple decent runs.
Yeah, he looked good this week.
He didn't look terrible. But again, I mean, you're talking about a 4th string, 5th string running back practice.
Who's on his third year in the league? He's not a guy.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine going Stroud this week.
Thinking about dropping Juwan Johnson for Pitts or Parkinson? Yes,
in a heartbeat.
Do so. Pitts for floor, Parkinson for ceiling. So.
Correct. Although we did just see Kyle Pitts' ceiling.
Let's be clear. And this was something I had to be careful with my rankings, Josh. Kyle Pitts fucking went off. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. I'm not going in expecting back-to-back Kyle Pitts career games is what it really comes down to. So,
if Drake London misses again, you never know.
He's not wrong, folks. Fantasy Lab, how do we feel about the Week 16, we'll call them the streaming quarterbacks? Tyler Shook, Jackson Dart, Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins, Jordan Love. He's rolling with T-Law despite the Falcons, and the Broncos. That's exactly where I would go here, Josh. T-Law is a starter. The other 3 here are streaming options. I'm going with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Giants home to the Vikings. Where's the other one? Tyler Shuck just fucking had him. Where's he at? Is he on Saturday? No, he's on Saturday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's at home to the Jets. I think I'd roll with Tyler Shuck. I'm not even kidding here.
Over T-Law.
Yeah, I think
it's fair. He made Tyler Shook makes the section later on in the show. So I'm going to go T-Law. I'm going to play slow and steady, but Josh,
that Jets defense can make anybody look good.
Yeah.
And Tyler Shook has actually looked good without the Jets defense making him look good. So
I'll
give Tyler Shook his flowers.
That's fair.
I mean, and again, the Falcons get Arizona. Kirk Cousins can sling all over them. You could very well have Brissett and Cousins going 303 touchdowns each.
He basically did it last week. Lawrence.
That's what I'm saying.
Cousins did. So.
And then Love going against the Bears. I feel like he's probably your odd one out here. But, it's again, you don't get points for last week, and I understand how great Trevor Lawrence has been. And we talked about we've been planning for this. Yeah. It's been you do not want to start Trevor
against
Lawrence
the Denver Broncos. Yeah,
I
don't know. Over these options,
I would agree. It's going to be hard to sit him. Don't get me wrong, but we've seen bad Trevor Lawrence, so it's not like he's been this perfect quarterback. You know what I mean?
So I'm going to throw ATL Outdoors up here. I promise you, Josh, this is my exact situation in my home league right now. I had started Herbert this whole season, but I was able to get Brissett. I've been starting Brissett. No one's going to even start Herbert if I dropped him, but I am going to wait until Sunday so I don't affect even the losers bracket, which matters in my home league. I need a kicker right now because I had a bye last week, so I don't have a kicker. I am dropping Herbert at game time. I'm rolling with Brissett for the rest of these playoffs. So
I would 100%.
Yep. It's not like I can't go find another streaming option equal to Herbert, even if I don't get him back if the worst happens to Brissett this week. But let's be clear, ATL Outdoors, if the worst happens to Brissett this week, we're probably not playing next week anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter.
There's
that. Trone from a question earlier says he loves Love, or he has Love, but he's debating going for Bo Nix. Love plays the Bears. Watson might miss that game. Bo Nix versus the Jags, Josh.
I mean, Jags also have a really good defense, but we kind of talked about this yesterday. Like when we see bad Bo Nix, it's bad, right? But for whatever reason, if they're losing, he turns it on. He finds these ways against these good teams.
Yeah.
That's when we see the best of Bo Nix. I'm perfectly fine going Bo Nix against the Jags.
Yep. I'd go Bo Nix. Now, Trone does bring up, and we talk about this all the time, I don't care about starting my defense against my quarterback, but he also has the Jags defense. Would we go for the Broncos versus the Jags? How are the Broncos on waivers? The Giants versus the Vikings, the Falcons versus the Cardinals, the Vikings versus the Giants. Josh, I love the Jags and Broncos both in this matchup. Even though I love the offenses, I think we could see turnovers.
Broncos lead the NFL in sacks.
I'm going with the Denver Broncos, Josh. I believe
100%.
When I did my rankings, they are my number. They fell to 5, but they're still a top 5 defense for me. The Jags are 7. It's not like they're bad. Go get the Broncos, and then you're starting Bo Nix and the Broncos defense. Your lineup tells a story like we talk about in DFS. So. Chris Thomason, almost butchered your name completely. New name, welcome to the show. Took out the number 1 seed as the 8th seed last week, and now has to face the 2 seed. He has London and Adams at wide receiver. Do we think either one of them play this week? Josh, I am willing to put money Devontae Adams does not play this week. I am not as confident when it comes to Drake London.
Yeah, I think Adams is the definite out simply because they're on a short week going Thursday. They're calling it week to week. Yeah, it's a must-win game because the winner obviously gets the big edge in the division.
Yeah.
But I think the Rams are good enough that they can beat Seattle without Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Drake London has already missed 4 games. So you would like to assume that he's closer to getting ready to roll. The way that Raheem Morris and the coaching staff are talking is that they're, hopeful, but I feel like they've been hopeful for 3 weeks. So I don't really know what good that's going to do, but have backup plans for both is what I would say, Chris.
Yep. All right, Josh. So we have a couple of questions about this, and it's the whole point of the show, but this one I think we can still put up here. Kittle or Waller, this is where I'm not getting too cute. I'm still sticking with George Kittle in this situation.
Same.
I love Waller, but let's not forget the Ravens tight ends combined for 3 points against the Bengals last week. And then Fantasy Labs agreeing with you about Colby Parkinson. This was from our discussion earlier, being the higher floor. He even calls him the high upside player. Maybe not quite as high as access, or not quite as high a ceiling as Darren Waller, but still a really good upside there.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. Let's get into the actual waivers, and we'll get right back into the chat. Remember, if you like what you're hearing, hit that like button. If you want to hear it again next week, hit that subscribe button. Next week's show will be the final Tuesday waiver show of the season, but we still have shows on Mondays, every Wednesday for the most part, and we still have fun Saturday shows and a lot of stuff coming up. If you happen to be listening on Apple or Spotify, hit that follow button. We do have Super Chat if you want to skip the line. We also have a completely free Discord if you want to talk fantasy when this show is over. Josh is dropping the link for you right now. It's also in the description of this video. The main section of the show we call Morse Code. This is the waiver wire section of the show. Josh, I made the list incredibly small this week. We break this one down by position because all that matters, Josh, is would I give someone the advice to start these players this week? When I look at quarterbacks for a 10 to 12 team league, there are 3 players on waivers that I would give advice to start. Jacoby Brissett, Trevor Lawrence, and CJ Stroud. That is the list. I have a couple of other options in my deep list. And Josh, we kind of already talked about Tyler Shough. If you want to maybe bring him up now, since we've already really spent some time on the other 3. So
Yeah, obviously Brissett's the number one guy here. I don't think it's a question for me. I would much rather let somebody else pay for T-Law and the breakout because he's not going to do that again.
I was gonna say you're definitely pouring some water on T-Law this week. So
yeah, well, again, I mean,
I'm not saying
Broncos are fucking good. Like, you know, they'll give up some yards, but that secondary is arguably the best in the NFL. And I don't think that Trevor Lawrence has the kind of outside weapons that are going to, you know, embarrass Patrick Surtain or, you know, Riley Moss and those guys. So, you know, I'm not jumping at T-Law here. I'm fine with Trevor Lawrence, or excuse me, with CJ Stroud over Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
I'm fine with Tyler Shuck over Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, so you said that one already.
I think Lawrence is probably more of like a top 14 guy this week. But I think that Shuck and Stroud can outplay him, you know, especially given the matchups. I mean, Stroud plays the Raiders. Yeah. Shuck plays the Jets. Like, those are cake matchups. And it's not like either of those guys have reliable running games, so they're going to have to throw the football.
Devin Neal also picked up an injury.
Correct. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So before we get into the running backs, we've got...
Oh, I knew what we were doing here. No more talking about these damn quarterbacks. Tyler Sperry, $4.99. We appreciate you, my friend. Dalton Schultz or Colston Loveland. Josh, Dalton Schultz has had a very safe floor, and for all the reasons you like CJ Stroud, it's a reason to go ahead and like it's a reason to go ahead and like Dalton Schultz over Colston Loveland this week.
Yeah, I'm very in on Dalton Schultz this week against the Raiders. We saw what Dallas Goedert just did against them. Now I understand that Schultz is a very different type of tight end, but again, when you are down a running game, you don't have your top two running backs, and I don't know if Chubb is going to play. I don't know if Woody Marks is going to play. And if that's the case, you're down. And I think Dario Gumbawale left that game with an injury as well. Yeah. That's why
all the reasons we love Colby Parkinson, you can love Dalton Schultz this week.
Correct. Yeah. So there's a safe volume play here, even if Schultz doesn't score a touchdown.
Yeah.
And he had a touchdown. He's a top 10 guy or top 8,
top 5.
7, 5, whatever. So yeah, Dalton Schultz is 100% the guy here for me over Loveland.
And then at wide receiver, he's looking at Rashee Rice, Mike Evans, or he threw in Jaden Reed at the last. Josh,
it is Mike Evans, and it's not close.
I would rank these three: Evans, Rice. I would still put Reed last in this situation.
I would as well. Reed did tie for the team lead in targets.
That was like 5 or 6, right?
Yeah, he had 6. He had 6 targets, which again, like this is the Packers' offense. Like they're not going to hyper target people. They spread the football around. Yep. And then you just kind of hope that they break the long ones so that they get, 5 for 85 in a touchdown versus 5 for 45 or 5 for 55, like Reed ended up with. So
shout out Tyler. We always appreciate you guys using the super chat button, and good luck in your semifinal matchup. At running back, Josh, this list is eensy beensy. There are 2 guys that I put into my article, Michael Carter and Blake Corum. Truly the only 2 running backs, Josh, I can recommend anybody start this week. I don't want to sit here and tell our listeners if they need a running back, they're shit out of luck, but they are. Good news is no running backs have really gotten hurt, so you're probably not desperate at running back, and we've kind of seen that in the chat so far. Josh, I added one more name to this list, and I didn't want to do it. I told people actively, do not fall for this trap, but he actually scored last week. Jacoby Krosky-Merritt all of a sudden has a chance to be something for Washington again. If you're desperate, would you roll Bill out as your flex in a playoff scenario
against the Eagles? Really?
Exactly. I know. This is how bad running back is right now, folks. Jawar Jordan might actually be a better option than Bill, and he's in the
look. Here's the thing with Bill. He's very efficient with his touches, and I will give him that.
6 touchdowns as a rookie is nothing to sneeze at. So
yeah, so he's had a decent season when he's had the opportunity, but they haven't really given him said opportunity. And maybe this is a time where they do because they want to evaluate him going forward. And, Rodriguez is a guy that, they've released and had on the practice squad, brought up and brought back down. And, it's pretty clear that he's not really a viable part of this team going forward.
Yeah.
But Bill Krosky-Merritt can be. So, I would like to think that we'll see more Bill Krosky-Merritt going forward.
Maybe he'll actually start this week.
Yeah, right. Well, and Rodriguez was a late scratch, I think it was a hamstring injury. And again, I mean, you're dealing with a mobile quarterback. You're going from Jaden Daniels to Marcus Mariota. Mariota knows how to, he's a mobile guy. He can do some good things. So being mobile helps the offense, helps the running game, right? So, this defense the Eagles has gotten so much better the last month of the season.
Yeah.
Their linebackers, dude, Jacoby Dean is on a mission.
Elite.
He is flying around the football. It's keeping their first round pick on the bench, mind you. That's how well Jacoby Dean is playing football. All that to say, I think he has a very low floor this week.
That's fair.
And I don't know that the ceiling is really there.
Again, I in my chat last week, I was actively telling people don't fall for this trap, and it kind of came back and bit me in the ass. That happens sometimes. Josh, we had some fun with wide receiver because Ryan sometimes is actually a human, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So Luther Burden from the article, I think Jaden Reed and Adonai Mitchell definitely need to be looked at. And then I listed Ricky Pearsall and Devon Vele. And Josh, you did something on the show sheet you've never done before, which is highlight Ricky Pearsall in red. And I'm going to let you go ahead and explain why, and we'll explain my thought process with all of this. So
yeah, Kyle Shanahan came out during, I think it was either Sunday's post game or Monday's press conference, and talks about Ricky Pearsall re-aggravating his previously existing PCL knee injury, and they're basically calling him week to week.
Yep,
he had a great week, 8 for 96, I believe it was. So he got all the volume while Juwan Jennings cleaned up in the end zone. Sure, that sounds about right. So I highlighted Pearsall simply because now you're dealing with a guy that for 8 weeks we thought might be coming back, and then now he's not, as George knows very well.
Yeah.
Holding on for dear life and not getting any production out of it. So don't fall for, he popped last week and then, he's just questionable. It's no big deal.
Yeah. And the reason I wanted to I suggested deleting this, and you said, well, let's talk about this because there are going to be players who make this mistake. And Josh, I threw myself under the bus here. If I can make this mistake, someone who does this little bit more than a hobby, anybody can make this mistake. And they're going to see Ricky Pearsall and they're going to put waiver bids on him. Save your FAAB, folks, and go for players like
if you have any left.
If you have any left. For players like maybe Jaden Reed or Devon Vele. Josh, you touched on Jaden Reed. Vele also picked up an injury this week, but damn, he looked good.
Yeah, so over the last 4 games, Vele has seen 26 targets. It's second on the Saints behind Chris Olave. Another fun fact, since week 12, Devon Vele is the wide receiver 21 in fantasy football. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And again, we've talked about this. The Saints play the Jets. The same Jets, mind you, who just fired their defensive coordinator.
And gave up 6 touchdowns to Trevor Lawrence.
Exactly. If there is ever a week for a Tyler Shuck breakout, because I feel like every rookie quarterback has had that 1 week.
And it's every time they played the Jets.
This right here, this is Tyler Shuck's week to say, I am here. Stop bagging me because I'm an old rookie.
Are you fucking telling me there's a Tyler Shuck song now? And George is telling us.
All right. I got to text who and be like, all right, I need you to find this song now.
We got to open the show with it on Saturday, apparently, because my man is about to ball out this week. And then, Josh, you kind of already touched on Jaden Reed. Anything you want to add there before we move on?
No, not really. If Christian Watson doesn't play, Reed's going to get a bump up, as I mentioned. He was tied for the team lead in targets with Luke Musgrave, tied for the team lead in receptions, as well, led in receptions, tied for the league lead in receiving yards. Only 55, but they spread this football around a ton. Jaden Reed scores touchdowns for this team, and he's done that very well. So don't think for a second that Reed can't be viable. He can be. It's just, how are they going to scheme him open, really, is what it boils down to.
And then at tight end, I've been saying this for weeks. Josh, I'm just incredibly impressed with the quality of tight end that is out there in waivers in every league. I think there is a clear line of delineation. Waller, Parkinson, and Schultz belong in their own conversation. If those guys are gone, and one of them should be out there for you, but if all 3 are gone, I do think the Johnsons, Theo Johnson and Juwan Johnson, still deserve a look in 10 and 12 team leagues.
Yeah, Vele is second in the Saints in targets with 26. Juwan Johnson is third with 25. Yep. So,
and they play the Jets if you haven't.
And they play the Jets, exactly. So, and again, you're down to their 4th running back now if Devin Neal can't go.
Yeah.
what does that tell you, people? They're going to throw the football.
Theo Johnson, another 10 fantasy points last week. Fucking Jackson Dart loves him some Theo Johnson. It helps that they don't have.
It's a tougher matchup this week against Minnesota, but we've seen these types of teams where they will happily overlook somebody else, or garbage time comes into play, and so.
Yeah, we probably spent 75% of this show on tight end, so let's just jump back into the chat. You guys know who you're looking for there. Millie put up 160 and still lost. Josh just brought this up in the Writers League. I had the second highest points of the week, but played the guy who had Trevor Lawrence and Kyle Pitts. So in the Club Fantasy Writers League, I'm also going home in a very similar style.
Chris dropped 250 on you. Holy shit.
This dude Chris hasn't been in the chat all fucking season long, and then jumps in to tell me GG's after he Trevor Lawrence and Kyle Pitts me. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, Chris. You're fired. Schultz or Loveland, we already covered.
No, we answered this one already.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz. Rice or Evans. Oh, he did the super chat. We appreciate you, buddy. Just to remind you, we put them as Evans, Rice, Reed. Did you guys? This is amazing. In Kyle Pitt's entire career, 7% of all of his fantasy points came this past game.
I mean, I believe it.
Did you see that
he outscored literally everybody this week?
Did you see that he's actually now, unless he goes wild again, on pace for 5 touchdowns this season? So he is literally about to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in his career.
When I did my projections, I did 5 touchdowns.
Someone said by the year 2030, Kyle Pitts is going to be the greatest tight end in fantasy history.
I'm telling you, this is lining up to be. He's going to get absolutely paid this offseason. He's 25. He's still very young. We know the kind of talent that he came into. He was the 4th overall pick, people. He has a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Just not unlocked here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Maybe they franchise him, but do you really want to franchise tag?
I say it'd be interesting to see him in a change of scenario.
He's from Philadelphia.
Oh.
Goddard only re-upped for 1 season. New England loves tight ends. They're going to have a ton of cap space.
Kyle Pitts just fits with that New England team so well.
Dude, I think he would too. Like if I think he could play a really interesting, like Aaron Hernandez type role in that offense.
Yeah, we could change him to Kyle Drake May Pitts as his nickname. Charlene in a quarterback situation, Kirk Cousins, JJ McCarthy, Shadur Sanders, or Phillip Rivers. Josh says Cousins, and it's not even close, right?
Yeah, so. I'm with you on Cousins. I would probably rank them disorder. Cousins, JJ, Shadur.
Yeah, because I even I almost had JJ in our top section, and I moved him down to the bottom section.
No, I'm very much. God, I'm still so fucking mad. Starting Sam Darnold over.
JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, did not love that one, but no, I mean he did what he was supposed to do against a bad team. JJ McCarthy
can't get Giants, Justin Jefferson involved.
Bad team. Still can't find Justin Jefferson, but yeah, rely on Cousins. They're on the road. It's a very beatable defense in Arizona. That's where I would roll.
Joel pushing back on you with Trevor Lawrence said a shell of the Packers offense just almost put up 30 on Denver. He's not fading T-Law at all this week.
I mean, that's fine. To each their own.
Josh, I'm afraid to answer this question because I know what the answer is. Would you drop Joe Burrow for Jacoby Brissett? And Josh, I think Joe Burrow fucking goes off this week. I'm starting Jacoby Brissett. He is the safest option in fantasy football. We saw Joe Burrow's floor last week. Do you know what Jacoby Brissett's floor is? 19 fucking fantasy points.
Yeah. This is definitely one of those desperate times call for desperate measures.
Terrifying.
Atlanta's not a great defense. Like they get after the passer. They're okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bucs still put up 28 points on them.
I saw what Jacoby Brissett did to Houston. I don't need to
and that's what I'm saying. Like you can't I don't know that I would drop Burrow because I don't want to give my opponent the shot at 304 touchdowns, right?
I'm telling you, Joe Burrow is going to come out angry.
Yeah, but I'm more than happy to start Jacoby Brissett over Joe Burrow.
You're definitely 100%. Starting. And if I have to drop him to get Brissett, I'll do it. Josh and I disagree on this one. I say it's T-Law. Josh says it's Tyler Shuck. We don't need to really go.
No, I would go Knicks over all of them.
Oh, would you? Oh, yeah, my goodness. I didn't even catch that. Okay.
Yeah, I would go Knicks, Shuck, T-Law, Love. That's how.
Okay. My apologies. Pick up Parkinson and start him over Bowers and Warren. So, Josh, when I was doing my rankings today, I did move Parkinson ahead of Bowers. This offense is absolutely terrible. Bowers has a safe floor. but he does not have the Parkinson ceiling whatsoever. I am starting Colby Parkinson over Brock Bowers if I can. There's a league where this is hilarious. I have a league that limits my transactions. I only have one transaction left this whole season. I am likely going to pick up Darren Waller and start him over Brock Bowers this week. So
I think for Bauer, yes, it's against Houston and it's not a great matchup.
Yeah.
I want to know what quarterback is starting.
That's fair.
If Geno Smith plays, I'm fine with Bauer.
Then you can stick with
If it's
Bowers.
Kenny Pickett, 100% I'm rolling with Parkinson.
But I mean, I think Parkinson's the better start regardless.
Well, and you have to make that decision early because Parkinson plays Thursday. So I'm fine going Parkinson over Bowers.
Yep.
I cannot believe I just said that. Jesus Christ.
Fighting also said that they are sitting both Tedero McMillan and Quinshon Judkins. I agree. And for those two players, we agree. Travian Henderson and Michael Wilson. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Priority tight end pickup for full PPR. Currently starting Theo Johnson. Great start, but he has Waller on his bench and then Schultz and Parkinson on waivers. Josh, I don't think you need to make a move here. I think you just pivot to Waller. But if you want to get Parkinson so someone else can't start him, I'm fine with that as well.
Yeah, drop Theo, grab Parkinson. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yep. Josh, I've been waiting to get this one up. Easy B says, do I bench Justin Jefferson in the playoffs? Not only do you bench him, Easy B, he made my drop section based on what is going on with that team. Now, Josh, he has a very interesting game this week. I maybe don't drop him this week. I'm not playing him.
I'm not playing Justin Jefferson.
I mean, I guess it matters who your options are. But
well, and here's the thing is like, if you made the playoffs in spite of starting Justin Jefferson week in and week out, kudos. Yeah. But that tells me that you have better players on your roster right now. In a good matchup for Justin Jefferson, he had 2 catches for 22 yards. This is also another good matchup against the Giants.
Yep.
Why would you feel comfortable that he can suddenly do it against the Giants? There is some level of disconnect between Justin Jefferson and JJ McCarthy. McCarthy does not like throwing into tight windows.
He not wants his guys
open.
Yep.
Defenses are double teaming Justin Jefferson. So what is JJ doing? He's going to the second or third option. He's going to Jalen Naylor. He's going to Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones out of the backfield. That's why Justin Jefferson is not producing right now.
Yep.
JJ McCarthy's not yet comfortable as an NFL quarterback.
Completely agree. I'm not playing him unless it's dire circumstances. I need to know who else you had. This comes up later on in the show. Justin Jefferson has 10 fantasy points combined in his last 3 games. So, George says, will we start Stroud over Goff, Love, and Lawrence? And Josh, I think you maybe would over.
I would over Love and Lawrence. Who do the Lions have this week?
Just looked
Steelers.
Steelers, yeah.
And it's in Detroit. I'm still going Goff.
It's very hard to bench Jared Goff right now, plain and simple. I love Trevor Lawrence. I'm probably going Jared Goff here as well.
Yep.
Did Surtain get hurt last week? I'll be honest, I don't know. Josh.
He left the game, but did come back. I don't think there's anything to worry about.
Gotcha. Alpocalypse needs to start 1 wide receiver and 1 flex. He has the Tampa Bay duo, Rashee Rice. Goodness, you have the same team as somebody else in the chat. Rico Dowdle and Bucky Irving. Clearly both players taking our advice. Josh, let's start with Mike Evans at wide receiver, right?
Yep, 100%.
And then I'm not comfortable going 2 Tampa Bay wide receivers. So to me, this comes down to Rice or Bucky over Dowdle.
I feel like I never remember who plays who. Panthers have the Bucks. You can run on the Bucks, man. I almost would rather pivot to Rico.
Wow. I'll go Rashee Rice.
I feel like Rico was okay this past week.
Yeah, I'll go Rashee Rice. I think Gardner Minshew has enough of a head on his shoulders just to feed him against a winnable matchup.
Yeah, Rico was RB22, 16 carries, 49 yards, and a touchdown. And you can run on the Bucks.
We saw Bijan Robinson go off.
So. Yeah, exactly. I mean, granted, Rico's not Bijan, but I mean, Shuba Hubbard, I'm still scrolling and I don't even see him. He was RB51, 8 carries, 29 yards. That's still Rico Dowdle's back.
Oh, yeah. Shuba Hubbard actually made my drop list.
That's what I'm saying. So, Rico's still that guy. And again, the Bucks defense can't stop a sieve. I'm fine going Evans and Rico here.
Yep.
And that makes you not so invested in the Bucks offense, mind you.
That's also very important. Let's be clear about that. Fantasy Lab says uncertainty around RJ Harvey with that rib injury. How do we feel about starting him if he goes into week 16 limited? Weighing him against Blake Corum. Josh, I love Blake Corum, but if RJ Harvey is healthy, I'm going into this game with RJ Harvey.
Yeah, but are you going to know by Thursday when you need to play Blake Corum?
Such a good point. I forgot about that.
Play it safe. Go Blake Corum. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't think Blake Corum is a bad start this week. Josh Tyler wants to know Cousins or Herbert.
Cousins,
what a week!
Close.
You said not close.
I'm not dealing with this. Oh, just because he's a big name and we know what he's done for us in the past. Like, what has he done for us lately?
That's fair.
Herbert can't find his wide receivers. The offensive line can't block.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is staying upright, and he's got a dream matchup against the Cardinals. Give me Cousins.
Kenneth Valencia, new to the show, coming out with the fire question, has Burrow, Herbert, and Purdy. Do you pick up Brissett? I'm starting Brissett over all three of these guys quite easily, Josh. I've already made
we literally said you can drop Herbert for Brissett. I'm perfectly
drop Herbert
fine
for
doing
Brissett,
that.
and then start Brissett this week, and then you're not giving Burrow to one of your opponents, but start Jacoby Brissett this week. Actually, I think he just said it's for the championship, so this might be his last week. So Waller over Schultz when Tua isn't good. I don't care that Tua isn't good. Did my camera freeze, Josh?
Yeah, it did.
Okay. You guys get to make me look like an idiot for a second while I figured this out. But regardless, Josh, to me, this is Darren Waller just because I'm not worried about Tua as much.
Well, and this is the thing. Skill position players can still do well even if the quarterback struggles. Yes, Tua had an interception. Tua only had 214 passing yards, but he had 2 touchdowns, and those touchdowns went to Darren Waller. It's okay that Tua sucks.
Yeah.
It's not like Cincinnati's defense is putting that much pressure on the quarterback. So it's okay to be like, hey, just because the quarterback sucks, I'm not going to fade the weapon. Darren Waller is a weapon, and this is a good matchup against Cincinnati.
Josh, when we play Jaden Reed over Tedderoa McMillan, I have these two as pretty equal. I would probably still lean Tedderoa in this situation.
Yeah, I'm going.
I like Reed. It's just the volume is limited no matter how you play this. So.
Yeah, and the Bucs defense is trash.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gator, if you're listening.
He's used to it at this point. Keenan, if Woody Marks is out, who would we start at flex? Myers, Diggs, Debo, Waller, or Michael Carter? This was Myers regardless.
I agree.
Myers should be starting over Woody Marks. So
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Swift or Dottle, Josh? George says he's leaning Swift. You obviously just told a story for Dottle, but you've been on Swift for these last couple weeks as well.
Yeah, Swift for me.
There you go. Romeo Doubs or Christian Watson? And the answer to this is go find another receiver. I'm not going to destroy your name. Cuts Barbershop or GT Cuts. Josh, I don't love either one of these guys. If I had to choose between these two specifically, I'm going to take the non-injured guy and go Romeo Doubs.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, this is going to work itself out. Like if Christian Watson's ruled out, then of course you go Romeo Doubs. So,
yep. I'm going to throw Zach's second comment up on the screen here just because it got my blood boiling a little bit this morning. So he said, we are all collectively benching Roma Dunes out of spite. And you are absolutely right. And I actually did bench him in a league last week for you, Zach. I don't typically bring this kind of Twitter bullshit up, but some random new Twitter name, I'm not going to give them any glory, went at Football Guys this morning for saying that we were way off on the Roma Dunze news that happened at 12:56. First of all, we sent out an email at 12:57. But Josh, where I really wanted to go with this is, who the fuck was playing Roma Dunze this week? Like, what has he done for you? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he was ruled out the previous week. He hasn't topped 10 fantasy points in about a month, it feels like. You weren't starting him anyway.
But I just love going at Football Guys when the shit happened at 12:56.
Are they like an analyst?
They're trying to be. They're new on the block. Let's say they've not built up much goodwill in their 5 minutes on the block.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
And then Zach gives us a question before we get into the cuts this week, or really the most important section of the show. Zach says, Brees, Judkins, Marks, Hampton, Harvey. We need to start 2 of these guys.
Well, luckily, none of them play Thursday, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. I hate almost every player on this list right now. If Marks was healthy.
I don't love the matchups on.
If Marks and Harvey were healthy, they would be my pick quite easily. Someone brought up, Quinn and Williams may miss for Dallas, which makes Hampton a little bit more appetizing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean Hampton. It's got to. If Marks plays, it's 100% Marks against the Raiders. Those would be my 2. Otherwise, I almost want to chase the upside with Brees against the Saints.
Yeah.
I feel like that's. I know it's a landmine 100%. Harvey's used, but again, that Jags defense is good. I think that's where I would go. It's Hampton Marks. If Marks is out, I would pivot to Brees.
Yeah, that's exactly where I am.
Who do the Browns have this week? Browns have the Bills. Yeah, Judkins isn't. You can run on them, but I just don't think they're going to be in a position to really utilize Judkins much.
There you go. Quick break. We'll get right back to the chat. Josh, this was the section I wanted to put together specifically for this week. It's our Mayday section. It's normally who we would drop. And for running back and wide receiver, we're still kind of there. But Josh, for quarterback and tight end, with streaming being so prevalent right now, I wanted to ask you about some of these disappointments and ask if you would go to our waiver options with them. So the names I want to throw at you are Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, and Justin Herbert. And I think we're pretty well established we don't need to talk about Herbert. You're going with the waiver options over Herbert.
Correct.
We probably don't even need to talk about Lamar, Josh. We've been doing that for 3 weeks. But Burrow and Dak are interesting. Dak let a lot of people down last week. And we've been talking about the upside of guys like Jacoby Brissett and Tyler Shough. Would you go with Tyler Shough over Dak Prescott this week, Josh? Or is that
this week? Yes.
Okay.
Look what the Chargers have done to quarterbacks just the last 2 weeks. I mean, fucking Jalen Hurts had 5 turnovers against his defense. They literally just ended Patrick Mahomes' season.
Yeah.
Dak is going to throw, sure. They're playing out of their minds right now.
He threw last week and didn't do shit.
And seriously, what do the Cowboys and Dak Prescott really have to play for?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're getting the best version of Dak Prescott. Yeah. Especially because the Eagles play Saturday. If the Eagles win that game, Dallas literally is eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because they're hanging on to a 1% chance that Philly loses the last 3 games and they win their last 3. That's the only way they can get the playoffs is win that division. So if the Eagles beat the Commanders on Saturday, shit, we might be seeing Joe Milton on Sunday.
It's fair. You're not wrong at all. And then Josh, I am starting Brissett over all of these guys, but I do think I would start Burrow over the other streaming options.
Yeah, that's honestly, I would rank them Brissett, Burrow. I would still go Lamar over Dak, although it's close. And then Herbert.
There you go. Lamar over Dak is ballsy as well. At running back, Josh, putting it bluntly, if you need a roster spot this week, and someone in the chat actually just asked a question like this, Ashton Genty, Quinshon Judkins, I am fine with dropping if excuse me, if I'm in need of a roster spot. And then when you look at the Seattle running backs, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, I think they're droppable. And then these last 3 guys, Rachaad White, Kareem Hunt, Jordan Mason, are 100% droppable no matter what you're looking to do. Those first 4, Josh, I'm not going to drop them out of spite, but I'm not going to be mad if I have to drop Quinshon Judkins to go get Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, 100%. That's kind of where I'm leaning on these guys. Unless you're in a keeper league, you know, what have Genty and Judkins really done for you lately? Really the same thing with Walker and Charbonnet.
And I'm going to throw Kenneth up on the screen right now, Kenneth Valencia. He has to drop someone for Brissett, Josh. His options are a little tougher. Omarion, Swift, or Henderson. I almost put Omarion on this list. He's just looked a little bit better than those other running backs. But if I need Jacoby Brissett, I'm absolutely fine with dropping Omarion Hampton.
Yep. I mean, you're not dropping Swift or Henderson. I can tell you that.
You can't drop Swift or Henderson.
No.
Which brings us to wide receivers, Josh. Very similar situation. Who is going to trust Roma Dunze? We're talking about collectively benching him. We can drop him. I already brought up Justin Jefferson has 10 fantasy points in his last 3 games. If I need a position this week, Josh, I'm not afraid to drop there's 2 games left, and when am I going to start them? And then the third name here, we kind of touched on this with Patrick Mahomes out. I don't know why you were holding Xavier Worthy anyway. He is definitely droppable.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. Week 17, Vikings get the Lions. If by some grace of God, Justin Jefferson and JJ McCarthy actually form some level of bond and JJ McCarthy helps Justin Jefferson return to Justin Jefferson levels, would that somehow make you confident in starting Justin Jefferson in week 17? Or are you now creating a landmine for your potential championship?
Yeah, we talked about setting the trap.
Yeah.
I feel like JJ McCarthy is going to force the ball Justin Jefferson's way this week, But Josh, I'm going to look at it as it was 1 week and we're just going to go right back to the bullshit next week. So I'm not going to start Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. I'm not starting him this week. I don't know.
I meant in the championship. Yeah.
Yeah. I probably would not start him in the championship, but also I don't know that I have it in me to drop Justin Jefferson. I'm okay benching him. I don't know that I could outright drop Justin Jefferson.
That's fair.
Because again, like we've talked about like some of the available wide receivers. Like I would not be comfortable starting Luther Burden over Justin Jefferson. I would not feel comfortable starting Jaden Reed over Justin Jefferson.
I think I would start Luther Burden over Justin Jefferson.
Okay, that's fair. Adonai Mitchell.
Yes, Brady Cook seemed to like him. I'm not even being facetious here, Josh. I would start Justin Jefferson has 10 fantasy points in the last.
No, I look. I've been very anti-Jefferson for over a month now. So, and that's really what I'm getting at with Jefferson. It's if you're going to drop him, are you picking up somebody that you feel comfortable starting?
You better be starting.
That's what this whole section is about.
That's the story of waivers right now. Don't drop somebody out of spite. So
exactly. Like, to me, the only one of these guys that I personally would feel, okay, I'm going to start them this week over Jefferson is probably Vele, truthfully.
Yeah.
So, and again, it just boils down to the matchup. Adonai Mitchell is interesting because we've seen the game-breaking ability. Burden, I just don't think he's consistent enough, is really my opinion. And he hasn't been finding the end zone. Like, they found DJ Moore twice.
Yeah.
So I think that really kind of limits the ceiling there. And again, it's the Giants. So Justin Jefferson's ceiling is much higher because we know the level of talent that Justin Jefferson is.
Yep. I've been playing with my camera this whole time. It just will not turn back on. I don't know what's going on. And that brings us to tight end. Josh, I want to treat this the exact same way we treated the quarterbacks. So many great streaming options, and you have 4 tight ends that have just let you down. Let me start by saying Oronde Gadsden, yes, he had a good week. Oronde Gadsden, TJ Hawkinson, Hunter Henry, all rostered in more than 60% of leagues, all droppable. But Josh, when we look at these streaming options, would you play any of the streaming options over Bowers, Warren, Kelsey, and Ferguson?
Ferguson, yes. Tyler Warren, yes. Maybe Kelsey. Maybe Bowers. Like I said, with Bowers, it really just boils down to who's the starting quarterback.
That's fair.
And again, like Colby Parkinson, I would play over Bowers simply because it's Thursday. I have to make that decision.
You have to make a decision.
Yeah. Everybody else, I will probably know ahead of time whether it's Geno Smith or Kenny Pickett.
So I'm with you on that analysis. I would start Parkinson and Waller over all 4 of these guys with no questions asked. When we get into the secondary options, even Dalton Schultz, who I put on that same tier, Kelsey, I might still go over Schultz, and then Bowers, I would wait and see who the quarterback is.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right. No questions in the chat. There's one right now. We'll get right back to you. Let's just keep this thing pushing to deep sea diving. These are your deeper waivers. Josh, I broke this one down by position as well. Josh, how I think I want to play this is the theme of the show has been, would you start these guys? So we're talking 14 teams in higher leagues. I know you're in on Tyler Shugg. I know you're in on Kirk Cousins. Bryce Young, JJ McCarthy this week with a trip to the finals on tech. Would you start Bryce Young or JJ McCarthy this week?
Probably not.
Okay. So, and when I say would you start, I'm saying stick with your lower stud like a Lamar Jackson or this hilarious, a Joe Burrow or a Dak Prescott instead of going to one of these waiver guys. So, as I mentioned, Josh, running backs are absolute fucking garbage. But I think 2 names to keep an eye on in deeper leagues. I'm not starting these guys in a 10-team league. But Amari DiMercato and Jawar Jordan, if I'm on a 14 or a 16-team league, I think they deserve a look this week.
I know DiMercato, he was coming off an injury. I think he was okay this past week. It's mainly just receiving work. Don't know that I love it. Jawar Jordan, again, if Woody Marks is out, why not? It's the Raiders.
Yeah.
Like, see what can happen. But I'd have to be stupid desperate.
And sometimes in deeper leagues, you can be. At wide receiver, Josh, we have a couple of guys who one guy specifically who started hot and has been slow lately, Shamiri DK. Jalen Coker goes off. The Cokeheads are freaking out. I told everybody to cut Rashid Shaheed. He's been on fire the last 2 games. David Sills has been good 3 of the last 4 games as the Falcons wide receiver 2, while Drake London is out. And then Josh, it seems Shedeur Sanders has a thing for this deep ball to Isaiah Bond.
Yeah, and this is really why they went out and got Isaiah Bond, like after all the pre-draft stuff that, ultimately cost him, getting drafted. He signed a fully guaranteed undrafted deal with the Browns. He's got talent. Like, there were a lot of people that thought he might be a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
He can get down the field. Shedeur Sanders has not been afraid to push the ball downfield. And we've seen it with deep targets to Bond. We've seen it with deep targets to Jerry Jeudy. The problem is the consistency of it. If all he's getting is one deep ball, it's not there. You just have to pray that it's going to be.
There just happened to be 2 this past week.
Correct. Yeah. So, they're taking their deep shots, which is fine, but they don't have any level of consistency here. The guys that I would be looking at from this list in your deeper league, Shaheed being one of them, Sills, and then Coker. Again, there's no consistency with Coker because one week it's Xavier Legette, the next week it's Coker.
Yep.
The next week it's Legette. Then it's Coker again.
Yeah, you're taking a big flyer on Coker.
Exactly. And I think as long as London is out, Sills is getting run. And again, it's coincided with, Ray McLeod being out as well.
Yeah.
So the opportunity is there for Sills, and teams are obviously migrating towards covering Darnell Mooney, and clearly not Kyle Pitts either for whatever reason.
Sills looks huge too. I don't know a lot about him. Every time he catches the ball, I feel like he's a tight end. So.
Yeah, right. So, those would be the guys that I would prioritize.
There you go. And at tight end, Josh, there's so many good options. We mentioned all of the great options before. If you're in a deeper league, some of those guys are probably still available for you. But if we're scraping bottom of the barrel, Josh, Colston Loveland showed up last week. AJ Barner's a touchdown threat. I am loving what I'm seeing from Gunnar Helm in Tennessee. And then Luke Musgrave hasn't been bad either.
Yeah, Musgrave obviously filling in for Tucker Kraft. Again, it's just target volume there. You tied for the team lead this week. Gunnar Helm and Cam Ward seem to like each other. Really kind of putting a damper on the Chikakonkwo 5th-year breakout, it feels like. But, it's there. There, as long as Cam Ward has to throw the football, which, let's be honest, Cam Ward has to throw the football.
Yep.
Gunnar Helm's going to have an opportunity there. And because teams have taken notice on DK, they've taken notice on A.M. Maynor. Helm is kind of sneaking out and getting some of those underneath targets. Barner. Yep. I mean, it's there. Loveland is the guy that we all want to break out, but as long as Cole Kmet's there, it's just really
I said that to somebody this past week. I'm like, if Cole Kmet could go away, Colston Loveland is super fun, but he just can't put him to bed. So
yep, exactly.
3 questions to wrap up the show. Zach, I don't remember if we answered this one or not, Josh, but I feel like we had a similar question. Okay, yep. We did get to this one.
Yep.
Okay, yep, I do remember that one now. All right, so 2 questions to wrap up the show. Should we drop Watson for Juwan Jennings? And I think that's a yes with him dealing with the injury now.
Yeah, I mean, you need to win, plain and simple. You can't exactly count on Christian Watson. Go get Juwan Jennings.
And then Josh, this is the one, the theme of the show has been the tight ends, and we would put Colby Parkinson ahead of Dalton Schultz. Schultz is a great consolation prize. Make sure you put waivers in for both in case you don't get one of them. So,
yeah, Parkinson over Schultz. Yep.
What do we got here? Michael sneaking in under the gun, saved his number 1 priority. He's getting Michael Carter. His opponent needs a running back. Would we start Carter ahead of Woody or Dowdle? This one actually might be a decision on its own, though, Josh, if Woody ends up being out.
Then you go Dowdle. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's saying, would you start him over Woody or Dowdle? So you would put Carter ahead of Woody at that point.
Well, let's see. You got Kieran, Chase Brown, Dowdle, Corum. I mean, how many running backs do you have to start?
Yeah, I guess you're definitely starting Kieran and Brown.
I mean, your top 4, honestly, Kieran, Chase Brown, Dowdle, Corum. Like, I'm fine starting both the Rams.
Corum guys is more important than Carter, even in this situation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Michael Carter is just Michael Carter. Like, he's bounced around the league. He's not. The Arizona running game is absolute trash. So I'm not. I would much rather just lean on Corum, who's getting run. I understand it's Seattle and they've got a good defense. That's not going to stop the Rams offense. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
they're going to keep running the football. And he's efficient with his touches. He's getting work, and I would not be surprised one bit if the Rams get both the running backs more involved in the passing game this week, especially with Devontae Adams out.
Yeah. Fighting solves everything. The only way I'm starting a dropped quarterback over Jacoby Brissett is if someone drops Josh Allen. It is Jacoby Brissett all day. No offense. You're not starting Bo Nix over Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
And Kenneth wraps up the show. Is the Chiefs defense going to show up, or do we go after the Bills D? The problem is, Josh, I don't trust the Bills D either. If I'm trusting one of these two defenses, it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. I mean, they play the Titans, so
yep,
it's fine.
That wraps up the waiver show. Hopefully you guys are all back next week, ready to talk championship waivers. Club Fantasy will be live again tonight at 10 p.m. That is the Samantha Holt, Derek Tate show sideline banner. That is our co-production with Women of Fantasy Football. You will see Josh and I again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Maybe Joe's with us. Maybe he's not. We never know these days. But Club Fantasy is going live for you all the time. Sorry about my camera to end the show, but at least you didn't have to look at my face. Good luck on your waivers. Good luck getting to the championship. We'll see you next week.